I feel like going into signing day, you have an idea. You know exactly what you're getting into. You know who the coaching staff is going to be. You kind of know like what the environment's like, what Knoxville is like. This situation, you don't know. You don't have a clue about anything. You don't know what coaching staff, what city. You don't know like the players you're possibly going to be with because you don't have those type of visits that you would have going into signing day. It's probably the biggest nerve-wracking thing that you have kind of going into the process, just not knowing where you're going to live here in a couple months.
Alontae, just describe what was the mobile experience like for you?
It was fun. I feel like it was a lot going on really fast, but being around a lot of guys who are, really good at what they're doing and guys who want to be successful and everyone's kind of chasing that same dream, it's really easy to kind of have those conversations with those guys and kind of cheer those guys on and not being selfish. The environment was fun. The game was fun, and I feel like it was a really good week kind of going out there during the parade and, kind of giving back into the environment or to the community, but also giving to like different families who needed food and things like that was probably the funnest day.
Trey, Vince, and Patrick.
Alontae, off-season, workouts, getting ready for the combine, getting ready for the draft. What's that been like? Where you been at? What do you think you have, kind of gained the most of the last 3 months?
It's been fun. I've seen my body change a lot. I was actually out in Exos in Phoenix, Arizona. I left a little bit earlier there because I had opted out of the bowl game. But going in, I went in at 187. I was 7% body fat. Right before I left, I was 5% body fat, and I weighed 199. Never thought I could put this much weight on. Never been this big before, but looking in the mirror and things like that every single day, not really seeing the change, but feeling my body feel better, being able to run faster, just kind of feeling more healthy, eating the right amount of food. I'm glad that I did it, and it's something now I know that like what to do to maintain weight and to gain weight. A lot of kudos to the Exos facility for taking their time into the dietitians, into the strength staff, into the speed coaches, just putting in a lot of time into me. Just to have me ready for the combine and pro day tomorrow.
Alontae, a couple things. One, what was your reaction and NFL people's reaction to your 40 time at the combine?
My reaction, I knew I was going to do that. I always had the faith I was going to do that. And when I walked into the facility in Arizona, I told Nick what my goal was. And he told me that I could reach that after kind of seeing the progression going on. I wasn't nervous at all getting down there. Probably the first time I've never been truly nervous to do something. Put in 8 weeks of hard work, each week seeing, things getting better, PRing each week. Going into Arizona, going into the combine, I was just like, I'm going to run that. And then whenever I got back to my phone and my Nick had texted me and told me it was a 4.41, I was like, okay, bet. Like, I can get that 4.3 for sure. My goal is a 4.38, and so the 4.36 really blew my mind. Got emotional when I got to my room, just kind of going through the toe injury and things like that. And then for everyone else, while doing informal meetings, I told every single scout I was gonna run a 4.38. A lot of them had me sign it and all that stuff to for my word, and I did what I did, and I can't wait to see those scouts here tomorrow so I can look them in their eyes and be like, I'm a man of my word. So,
Heard you also worked a little bit at safety in Mobile. What do you think about that option for you in the NFL?
It's different. It was fun. It was cool, something I know I can do. I played a lot of nickel, actually, out there. A little bit of corner, not too much corner, more so nickel. But knowing my IQ of the game and realizing getting on the board with different teams and doing X's and O's and of safety and corner and nickel showed a lot of me and showing that like I can go into any system, adapt to any type of playbook, and I can play anywhere on the secondary.
Alontae, you talked about how you put on weight, you trimmed your body fat. How did your 40 time change over the time that you were training between the end of the season? So now how much did that go down? Yeah,
so when I got there, we ran 40s the first day. I didn't run because I was still healing from my toe. So I didn't have a baseline 40 time, but as we started going into 20s and 10-yard splits and things like that, my time started to change. Actually, a week before I left to go to Indianapolis, I had ran a 4.47 there. And then Nick was just talking about, we had just started our taper and things like that. So once my legs got back underneath me and then just being in that environment and knowing what's at risk when you get on that line, I think that's what really kicked into me. And then, like I said, just rehabbing and getting my body ready. And then when I got out there, did what I did.
You talked a little bit about how you were telling scouts what you were going to run.
Mm-hmm.
Have they told you that would really help your case, help your stock in the mind of a lot of teams?
No, not really. Just when I told them, they were just looking at me like, are you sure? Are you positive? And by that, I just knew that they didn't believe that I could run that as well. So when I did that, the first thing that came to my mind when I looked up to the screen and I seen the official 40 times was, like, yeah, so like what now, So I shown that I can run. Now tomorrow, just kind of showing more about my being able to do things on the field that maybe I struggled with a little bit there at the combine. So.
Back to Adam, or sorry, we'll go back. Cool. Alontae, 2 questions for you. Big day tomorrow, obviously for your draft stock. What do you hope to accomplish?
Really just that I can catch the ball. I feel like I struggled catching the ball those first couple times in Indianapolis, but also just, being around my teammates, my former teammates, and just interacting with them and just showing a different style of leadership. It's a different way that I kind of led there in Indianapolis, kind of being more into myself, but leading by actions. But tomorrow, being able to be that vocal leader and cheer on the other guys who maybe didn't get to go to the combine, but just really that I can catch the football. So.
Second question for you. This is something that a player dreams of, going through, his childhood, getting to this moment, going through the NFL draft process. What does this moment mean to you?
It means a lot. I think right before the combine, I had put up something on my Instagram. It was like, "Dear 5-year-old Tay," just kind of saying to myself that this is what I dreamed of. I'm finally here now, and I deserve it. I feel like for the first time, I kind of sat down and was like, you really worked your tail off for this. You deserve to be here, and this is where you're supposed to be. So just take it all in and enjoy the moment, and don't let it go by too fast so I can have a story to one day tell my kids. So.
When you're thinking forward, are you thinking about an NFL career over several years, or are you more focused on that first day on the job sort of thing? Where's your perspective?
I feel like just being where my feet are right now, this is going to be a whole different type of football that I'm heading into, and just learning how to be a pro, reaching into the minds of the veteran guys and just kind of figuring out how to be a pro the right way. But then once I get comfortable and I get to going, then I can kind of start looking more so into the future. But right now, just being where my feet are, and right now I'm here, pro day tomorrow, being with the guys, and then we'll go into, the draft and then wherever I end up.
Alontae, during the combine, Charles Davis was talking, kind of talking about you while you were running and saying that there was like a mentorship kind of program with former players and current players. Kind of talked about you a little bit. What's that sort of dynamic been like with him? Have you been able to reach out to him over the course of this process since as you've been getting ready for the draft and everything? And what's that been like to kind of maybe connect with him?
It's been awesome. Me and Charles, we've been talking for maybe 2 years now. We text. He texted me before games, after games, things like that. And haven't got to meet him in person. But whenever I got to the Senior Bowl, he was like doing the NFL Network there, and he actually got brought down there and seen me, Velus, and Cade, and talked to all of us. And it was good to finally meet him in person, a guy I've been talking to through the phone. And then at the combine, after I ran my first 40, I went to my phone, like I said, got my results from my speed coach, but then Charles had texted me and told me what my time was, and he was like, "Now go get that 4.3." So I could tell he had the faith and the confidence in me as well. Someone that, we're going to stay connected all the way through this thing, and I can't wait just to see where I end up, and then just having those conversations with him, because we kind of have the same background story as in coming into Tennessee and all those things. So, yeah.
Alontae, during any of the process preparing for the NFL draft, have you heard any comps to current or past NFL players, maybe the most at all?
Not really. I haven't heard much. Haven't really asked much as well. Just kind of just taking it day by day and just seeing if I hear anything eventually. So.
Finish in the back.
Alontae, how do you feel that Tennessee has prepared you for this moment?
Tennessee's prepared me in many ways. I guess ways that showed up more so whenever I got into the combine and when I got to to the Senior Bowl, as far as like understanding the game of football. The strength staff, of course, gotten stronger, gotten bigger, gotten faster. I kind of seen that development throughout my 4 years. But, one thing that Coach Pruitt and Coach Ensley harped on was just knowing the game. And then Coach Martinez and Coach Banks coming in here, understanding like, hey, Alontae, like, we know you know how to play corner, but learn how to play safety, learn how to play nickel, even if I don't take a snap in the games. And from doing that in a way of not truly writing down notes, but just listening and like understanding what they were saying when it came to board work at the Senior Bowl and board work at the Combine, it was simple. It was easy. And I kind of shocked myself as far as knowing that my IQ of the game is really big. And so just from that, I feel like Tennessee prepared me for that. And then, off the field, just being in Tennessee, being in the environment, things like that, I knew that was going to be something that was simple and easy for me. So.
Appreciate y'all.
Your stock has risen, I guess, as much as anybody over the past year, from a guy maybe that wasn't draftable a year ago to a guy that's moved up several rounds now. Have you gotten asked what happened in the last year to create that rise?
Yeah, I've been asked. There have been some teams that were higher on me from a potential standpoint as far as they saw potential of my game. And knowing different situations that I've been through with maybe position coaches or what I've been taught, and maybe they were higher on me initially, but now I feel like it's a little bit more consensus, and I can obviously attest that to, seeing a scheme that fits me, yes, and great coaching for sure, but also just like resiliency through the process. They could have brought Bill in here to coach me in 2021, and we would have been pretty good. Because we were just ready to play, and so was I, and I was just ready to be better, and show anybody who doubted, and even people who believed in me, proving them wrong, and the people who believed in me right. So, that's what it's been all about over these past 12 months, but really throughout my whole career.
Matthew, some of the things that you've learned and picked up over the last couple months, training and getting ready for NFL Pro Day, what do you think your biggest step forwards have been over the last, 3-4 months?
I mean, I feel like a lot of what I've been doing over the course of my career here had prepared me for moments like this. And I'm not just talking about the combine or the Shrine game or tomorrow. I just mean even times in the process, just training, just being cognizant and aware of what's going on in my body, being able to analyze something that I put on film, whether that's 40 technique and sprinting mechanics, or at the Shrine Bowl, and being able to talk to the coaches there and show them things that, quite frankly, that some other guys at the Shrine game, and arguably other guys, that play my position throughout the nation, like maybe don't know. So I was just been able to showcase that and just be cognizant of it. I wouldn't say I've just taken these exponential strides, but it's just being able to showcase what I've been taught, what I've been exposed to, and whatever the case may be.
Patrick and Vince.
Now, you talked a little bit about the Shrine Bowl. How important was that those days of those practices to get in front of NFL people, just kind of supplement what you did during your season?
Yeah, I kind of went in there with a chip on my shoulder because, I think everybody knows it's like the Shrine Bowl is a really good bowl, but I wanted to be in the Reese's Bowl, and I didn't know why in the world I wasn't. So, I went in there with a chip on my shoulder, and I was just like, well, I don't feel like anybody here is better than me. That's kind of what I went in thinking, and I wanted to prove myself right. And I feel like that's what I did. Just, I went out there, and there was probably 200, 300 scouts out there just from different teams, different personnel, and stuff like that all there. And I just, used it as an opportunity to obviously showcase what I had been showcasing throughout this past season, and do it against different opponents, and also just show some things that maybe there was a question mark by, like, oh, I saw this in 1 or 2 games, maybe 3 or 4, but is he going to come out here and do it for these 4 days in a row? Not to mention the whole game process. It's about seeing people's practice habits, how they analyze things in person, because you can ask somebody's coach all day long, like, oh, how does he grasp things, and what's his communication like on the field, and they'll give their perspective. But then when a scout or coordinator or coach or anybody is there and they actually get to witness it, and there's something that they've been taught 24 hours before, that's a totally different vibe. So, I feel like I excelled there and was able to just showcase who I am.
Matt, 2 questions. One, can you take us inside some of those interviews with the NFL teams? If any questions stood out, like, wow, this is wild that they're asking me that?
No, nothing really outlandish. They know everything though. They're asking you questions that they already know the answers to. So I'll be asked about how it was growing up in my hometown, and things about my daughter, and and then of course we talk ball a lot, and then just trying to dive deep into your personality and how you are. So it would be harder if I wasn't just being myself. You can tell when guys are faking, you know what I mean? And I don't fake too much. So, it's not anything that I didn't feel comfortable doing, because I'm just being myself.
Would you say there are any teams that maybe have shown more interest than others at all?
Yeah, at the Shrine Bowl, I probably talked to, between the Shrine Bowl and the Combine, should I say, I've talked to all but basically one team. I don't know why, but whatever. I talk to the Chargers a lot. You know, Coach Ansley is there, who obviously has coached me in the past. I talked to the Eagles and had good extensive conversation with them. Coach Rocker's there. He's coached me in the past. Talked to like the Jaguars, the Chiefs, with Trey being there. Talked a lot to the Saints, the Titans. I mean, I'm just scratching the surface. I've probably talked to like 10 or 12 teams that maybe are a step or two, like, you know, showing quote unquote more interest than another team. But this process is crazy. You know, I might get drafted by that one team who I just referred to that has not talked to me at all. So, and they might draft me before any other team thought to draft me, you know, so, you know how that goes. One thing about this process is, you know, I heard y'all ask Alontae, you know, how does this compare to like signing day? For me, signing day was more stressful because I'm over here like, oh man, did I make the right decision? And it was all on me. Now it's just like, okay, I'm gonna end up where I end up and let's go ball. You know what I mean? Like it's literally not on me. I can just put my hands behind my back and wait. So, yeah, it's been a really enjoyable process.
You care to share that one team that hasn't shown you?
No, no.
Okay.
They might call. I might have a 3-hour-long meeting with them tomorrow, and then that statement's just negated.
Hey Matthew, the same two questions that I asked Alontae. The first one just being a big day tomorrow for your draft stock. What do you hope to accomplish as the first one?
Yeah, so I mean, I had like a mishap at the combine that affected my bench press. So I mean, I'm not going to bench tomorrow, but everything else, you know, since it affected my bench press and it affects, you know, your running motion, I just want to be better than I was at the combine. By all accounts, I had a good combine as far as the numbers with my 40 and vertical and broad jump, 5-10-5 and all that. But I just intend on being better because you just never know how those conversations end up on draft day when you know, it's XYZ round and they're between myself and another D tackle, or shoot, myself and another dude from a different position, and you can point to Matthew and say, well, you know, he had a great combine, an even better pro day. XYZ happened at a combine that inhibited him from doing whatever, but he fought through it and then came back and did better at his pro day. You know, he's a cerebral player, he's a strong player, he's fast, he's this, he's that, whatever, we're going to take him. And then, you know, you never know how those conversations will go. So I'm just trying to just continue to prove who I am. I'm not trying to prove anything that, you know, obviously, like, stuff will be showcased out here that maybe I struggled with in the season or maybe I excelled at, just one way or the other. I just want to be excellent in everything tomorrow. So that's kind of how I'm going into it.
Well, and then the second one, you know, this moment going through the draft process, something that, you know, kids often dream of growing up playing this game, especially with the way that your draft stock's risen, you know, fairly recently. I mean, what does this moment mean to you?
I mean, it means a lot. And, you know, over the past couple of days since I've been more in the facility and seeing my teammates, I've just been talking to them about how this process kind of really goes. Obviously, it's a dream process, but there's obviously, like, stuff that I wouldn't say it's hard, but it's, like, not what you expect. Like, for instance, at the combine, and this is common knowledge, but it's just not what not what resonates with you when you think about the combine. It's 4 days of your body being looked at. You know what I mean? Like, that sucks. It's boring. You know, people falling asleep on the middle of the floor, like, just because you're sitting in 4-hour lines waiting to get a scan. And that's okay. That's fine. But, you know, the fun part is being able to perform and being able to kind of, like, prove guys wrong who, you know, there's been scouts that came up to me last year, you know, after my first senior year and said, oh, you've reached your potential. You might as well come out. It was good for me to come and obviously play better in 2021 and then go to the combine and perform well. And now I have opportunity tomorrow to perform even better, especially without any inhibitions to my body or anything like that. So.
There's one more in the back.
You said signing day was more stressful than this moment. How do you feel about that choice in hindsight now?
Oh, I should have been more specific. Not signing day, but just the process of picking like a school. But I mean, in hindsight, I don't regret anything. I don't really live with many regrets. There's a bunch of stuff that, like, if you had an opportunity, I'd do it differently. Ton of stuff, but I just don't live like that. I don't think like that because, you know, God's plan is the one that I'm walking in, and it's going to be hills and there's going to be valleys, and depending on how you look at it, the hill might be better than the valley might be better than the hill. So, I mean, I'm just going to walk this walk until I get where I'm going. And like I said, the process throughout Tennessee and throughout this, 3.5 month process has been exciting. There's been highs and lows, hills and valleys, and it's all kind of leading up to Matthew Butler getting to show who he really is. And that's what I've been doing. That's what I'm going to continue to do. So, yeah, I definitely don't regret anything. Looking back on it, I've appreciated it and enjoyed it.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Matt. Continue with Velus, and we got Kenneth George back here too. Start with Trey, then go to Patrick.
Velus offseason, leaving Tennessee, working out down in South Florida. What's been the biggest gains that you've made probably over the last 3 to 4 months between your workouts, Senior Bowl, and Combine?
I would say, my main focus when I went down to South Florida was my 40. That was, my main focus. And also, route running, especially at the top of the routes. And, went out there, I saw the progress. And the craziest thing, working with Pete at Bomarito, I didn't peak until that second 40 at the Combine. And, just going down there, trusting the process, week by week. And kind of was impatient as well because, I was just looking forward to all the events, but everything paid off because, I looked at everything at one day at a time. I didn't look too far down the line. And so when the Senior Bowl came, I handled my business. I did what I was supposed to do. I showed what I was supposed to show to be able to create separation in my routes. Also, show my speed when it's time to run past people on deep balls. And at the Combine, I also did my thing as well with my 40 time. And so my preparation in Florida, I feel like it fully paid off. And I feel like I put myself in the best position, to up my draft stocks.
Bez, I think you said at the Combine before you ran that you were going to blow some people's minds with your 40 time. Just what was the reaction that you got from NFL people when you ran a 4.31? That's not a lot of guys ran faster than that. A lot of people expected me. I think they was expecting me to run a high 4.4. I even heard a 4.5, but I knew all along what I was going to run, but I didn't know I was going to run a 4.31. I tapped into another level there. But I feel like I definitely shocked a lot of people. I even asked some of the scouts on the field what they think I'm gonna run, and I heard some of their answers they gave me and stuff. I was like okay, and so I just had confidence. My adrenaline was pumping, and so I definitely didn't disappoint. And so a lot of people was blown away. I feel like with my size and my rare skill set that I was gonna run that fast.
Velus, you may be starting a long NFL career, but some guys don't make it. What's that feeling like, the make or break part of it? Is it thrilling? Is it scary? What's that like, not the unknown of what's going to happen?
Well, ever since I started this college career thing, starting at USC, it was a lot of unknown. Even when I entered the transfer portal, it was a lot of unknown. But one thing about me, I'm a man of faith. I'm a Christian man. And, I believe in everything happens for a reason. Your life was already written. And so, the unknown doesn't worry me anymore. What's for me will be for me. And no man, nobody, no obstacle can really get in my way of that. And so, I'm really laid back about this whole process because, I know I'm in good hands, And so, whatever happens, and I can live with that through all the adversity and all the challenges throughout my college career, that, I gave it my all, and I can truly say that. And so I can live wherever, the chips fall.
Velus, just going into the draft process, a lot of guys hear kind of what it's like. How is the actual process compared to what you've heard? Any differences, anything that's jumped out?
I mean, no, it's really not much to it. The draft process, it's whatever you make it to be. Everybody got different perspectives of like the grind and like the mindset you're supposed to have. But I feel like through the whole process, if you continue to be you, never change and be that same kid that when you came into college, that hunger you had, it'll take you a long ways. And one thing about me, I love the game. And so like every moment of like every rep I had of running or every route I ran down there in South Florida when it came preparing, like I actually enjoyed like every second of it, And that's why I was like telling and training myself not to look too far down the line. Let's worry about the day to get better and get better and get better. And each and every day it's like stacking like little wins. And if you stack a whole lot of little wins, they become a big win. And so I feel like that's why I performed so well and stuff. I took everything one day at a time, didn't overthink anything, Like I said, like your story's already written, whatever you're going to do, you're going to do. And so I have no regrets or anything where I wish I could have did something better because, like, I gave it my all.
Yeah, Velus, how do you think Tennessee, the last year especially, helped prepare you for this process?
I would say it helped me out a lot, Even with Coach Eckler allowed me to be a punt returner. It made me increase my value when it comes to being on the team because at the end of the day, they all say you got to go and take a grown man position. And, that's what I'm prepared to do now from this past year. And just like, even with the coaching staff, like the positive energy, being like around a real family, it gave you all the confidence, you needed to perform well, that knowing that your brothers were behind you. Everybody was happy for each other, even though we competed every day for a position. And the coaching staff so encouraging. And even if you did mess up, they telling you it's fine, like forget about it, like next play. And so, man, a lot played into it with Coach Heupel coming in and also with the practices. Coach Heupel practiced like NFL teams where during the season we don't wear full pads. And, because he want to be the fastest, freshest team on Saturdays. And I feel like that played a part of it as well when it came to dodging injuries and things like that. Because I feel like in this game, a lot of people got the talent, a lot of people got the will and stuff, but injuries will definitely slow you down in this game. And the most important thing in this game is being available. And so, yeah, Coach Heupel helped out major when it came to my mentality, taking the field each day like a pro, taking every rap like a pro, and always like preaching that and reminding us over and over. So this past season with this coaching staff definitely played a big role when it comes to mentality, especially getting ready for the next level.
Velus, being from Mobile, and I mean, you grew up going to the Senior Bowl. I'm sure that was a childhood dream for you. What was that week like, where you're trying to enjoy maybe the sentimental side of it of doing that, but also trying to go out there and do a lot of the things that you said you were going to do in terms of showing NFL teams what you can be?
Man, just pulling up, I remember we had a lot of testing to do, and so that lasted like all day. But I enjoyed that, just like actually like letting everything soak in from the check-in and everything, like how fortunate and blessed I am, to be a part of something so special that's been around for many, many years. And, when it came to the events and stuff we did, like I literally like just looked around and like soaked up every moment and stuff, because it's like you said, I was a kid in Mobile and I went to those games and just seeing those players and like wanting to be like them, and for me to go back and play in front of my community and my family, and also like my younger relatives that look up to me, like that was like one of the best moments of my life, best moments in the world for me. And also with the practices, it being competitive, everybody bringing their best foot on the field every day and competing. Like, that was a big part of it for me. I just, like, love the energy and stuff and the environment. Everybody, was going out there and giving their all and stuff, to increase their draft stocks. That's a big reason you go and do it. And so, man, it was really, like, quite the experience. Everything I could ever imagine and more. So, thank Jim Nagy and his staff for inviting me to that.
Hey, Velus, 2 questions. First one being a big day tomorrow. What do you hope to accomplish?
Show coaches that I'm more than just a returner and stuff. I see that all the time, but I'm definitely a returner, but I'm also a playmaker when I got the ball in my hands. I am a receiver that could be used in multiple different ways. Just go out there and show them that I'm a route runner. I definitely can run routes. Definitely can use my hands. And also, just like tracking the ball and stuff, like things that I've been doing I know I can do. So, just go out there and really, like, leave no doubt. Just go out there and crush it tomorrow. And so that's what I'm going to do.
Second question, you've gone through the NFL Draft Combine. Now you get to do your pro day. It's a moment that, a lot of players growing up playing this game dream of doing. What does it mean to you?
It really means the world. Like I said, I faced a lot of adversity in my career, times that I actually wanted to give up. But, like, my family, like, we're not quitters. The mentality that I had growing up from the Towner and the Jones side of my family, things got tough, but it made me who I am today. It made me grind harder, go harder. And so that's knowing that I made it this far, by the grace of God. It's just that I'm just going to, soak everything up tomorrow and stuff like that, like live in the moment, like each rep, and actually, like, have fun and enjoy it. I feel like a lot of players across the country, they make it this big thing, like that that's overwhelming, that brings them anxiety, but it's really nothing to worry about. We've been preparing for our whole lives for this moment, and during the training, after the season, preparing for the draft. Like, just go out there and have fun, like, have a smile on your face. And so that's what it's all about. It's football at the end of the day.
Thanks, Velus. We'll finish with Kenneth George Jr. Start with that.
How much in this process do you feel like you're selling your ability for special teams versus defense? Do you feel like that's special teams is as much of a selling point for you as anything?
Yeah, most definitely. I always was a good special teams guy. I played kickoff, punt return, all those type of things. But as a defensive guy, I feel like I could play anywhere in the back end. It's going to be going on my 5th year actually playing football. So, it's kind of still new to me. I'm learning a lot of things and watching a lot of more film. So, special teams, that was always the easy part for me. And I was trying to showcase that I am a DB and I can play on any level.
You weren't invited to the NFL Draft Combine. What do you hope to prove to scouts, whoever might be there tomorrow, to really show your stuff?
First thing I plan on proving that I am a very fast guy. Plan on running a good 40 times tomorrow. I want y'all to be there, and on top of that, just to show off showcase my talents on the field, like DB wise, flipping my hips, my feet work, and stuff like that. And just show them that, I am capable to play on the next level on any team, at any given time, or any circumstance.
Kenneth, where'd you work out at? Some of the things that maybe you got better at over the last 3 to 4 months in your eyes, and looking ahead to this process and even tomorrow, the last couple months of work, how do you think it'll pay off?
First, I was working out at Michael Johnson Performance Center in Dallas, Texas, and I've just been working on simple things like coming in and out of my breaks, speed, turning, flipping my hips, just little things like that just can help me improve more and more. it wasn't too big about like the football, like technique things of like actually playing, but just the drills. I mean, I can move pretty well. I lost a couple pounds, so that would help me out a lot.
Yeah, you talked about sort of being still relatively new to football, having maybe not played as much, but kind of looking back at your Tennessee career, I know you're focused on tomorrow and getting a shot at the NFL. But how would you kind of describe your time at Tennessee?
I enjoyed my time at Tennessee. I've been here 4 years, and last year was my only, big season, not getting the production and everything I wanted to get. But I mean, Tennessee is gonna always be home for me. I love this state, this town, everything about Tennessee. It will always have a special place in my heart, especially Neyland Stadium and all the fans. So I mean, just being new to the game, kind of keep learning from going on in life. Watching a lot more tape, meeting with more people, working out with more like NFL dudes, college dudes, and seeing like where I'm at with those guys and just competing everything they do. I mean, that's what it's all about with me. I'm a competitor. It doesn't matter like who in front of me or none of that. Like I'm gonna compete and I'm gonna give you everything I got.
Anything else for KG?
So before the draft process, what's it like going through and trying to figure out just where you're even gonna, work out to prep for the draft? What factors go into that, and what makes you decide this is kind of where I want to, spend the next few months to get ready for the draft?
Mm-hmm. So I had a couple options. I could have worked out at Exos in Arizona, Exos in Dallas, or MJP in Dallas. So I just chose MJP in Dallas because, I mean, my big brother lives there. So, I mean, I just having somebody close. I didn't want to go nowhere where I didn't know anybody. And it wasn't no training facilities in, like, Lafayette, Louisiana is where I'm from. So it was like just picking that place where I felt like it would have been a little home for me, and just stay away from all distractions and everything so I could just focus on myself and improving my game.
What's the biggest thing that you think the coaching staff, Coach Banks or Coach Eckler, has taught you that will translate into the NFL? Accountability for sure. Ever since Coach Hype, Coach Banks, Coach Martinez walked into the building, they were big on accountability and, just doing everything right, even when people's not looking, I mean, I made a couple mistakes when I was younger and stuff like that. We're not going to talk about that, but, I mean, just being accountable and, being able to admit that I was wrong in certain situations and things like that. So just about them coming in, being big on accountability is going to last with me the rest of my life.
This is sort of a make or break situation, basically with anybody that's trying to get into the league. What's that like? Is there an intimidation of that? Is it pressure? Is it thrilling? What's the feeling going into that?
No pressure. I've been working so hard for this for the past, 3 months, well, for the past 4 years. So it's like, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm nervous, but I mean, I'm just ready to go, because I worked so hard for this and I just want to showcase everything I got, like just put it all on the line, because this is, like everybody telling me, this is the biggest interview I'm gonna have for the rest of my life. So it's like, just going out, knowing I put in the work, knowing I'm prepared the right way. So just now it's time to lay it all on the line now.
Perfect. Thank you, KG.
Yes, sir.